Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Welcome to the Top 5 from The Ray Taylor Show, where each week I rank movies and TV shows sometimes in a variety of categories, from franchise and subgenre to directors and actors. No film or TV show is left unwatched as I break down my top 5 picks, so join me every Sunday for new episodes and get ready to dive into the world of film and television with Top 5 from The Ray Taylor Show. In this episode, I will be ranking my top 5 animated shorts from Love, Death, and Robots Volume 2. That's right, I did Volume 1 already, which you can see on youtube.com/inspireddisorder if you want to see how I ranked the 18 films, or 5 of the 18 films from Volume 1. And for those that aren't aware, Love, Death, and Robots is an anthology series on Netflix that showcases a collection of animated short films. It was created by Tim Miller, the director of Deadpool, and David Fincher, the acclaimed filmmaker behind Fight Club and Gone Girl. The series explores various genres, including science fiction, fantasy, horror, and comedy, presenting a diverse range of stories. Each episode of Love, Death, and Robots is a standalone narrative, typically ranging from 5 to 20 minutes in length. The episodes feature different animation styles, ranging from traditional 2D animation to computer-generated 3D animation and photorealistic visuals. The series is known for its visually stunning and highly detailed animation. The themes explored in Love, Death, and Robots revolve around, as the title suggests, love, death, and robots, aka technology. The stories often delve into thought-provoking concepts, futuristic technologies, artificial intelligence, and the human condition. The series isn't afraid to explore mature and dark themes, and some episodes contain explicit content, including violence, nudity, and sexual scenes. Viewer discretion is advised, as it were. Due to its anthology format, the episodes of Love, Death, and Robots vary wildly in tone and subject matter. Some episodes offer introspective and philosophical narratives, while others are action-packed and filled with suspense. The series often leaves room for open-ended conclusions, encouraging viewers to contemplate the ideas presented. As an anthology, each viewer may have different favorite episodes based on their personal preferences. So this episode right here is all about my particular top 5 animated shorts from the Love, Death, and Robots series, Volume 2. Starting off with my 5th favorite Love, Death, and Robots short film from Volume 2. This is, I think many of them are short films that I would love to see extended into a full-length narrative. Very rarely do I think, every once in a while there will be one that I love that I think is perfect as it is as a short film. But this is one that I loved the world building. I love the premise. I would love to see a film based on this short film. Coming in at number 5 is Pop Squad. This has a runtime of only 18 minutes, directed by Frank Balson and Jennifer Yu Nelson, based on a short story by Paolo Bacigalupi. Produced by Blur Studio and Little Zoo Studio, Pop Squad follows a cop named Briggs, who is charged with fighting the scour of overpopulation and is haunted by the human toll of his work, finding breeders and killing their offspring. The rich control the resources and forbid anyone from having unregistered offspring. The rules exist so that people can live forever as long as they keep the population down. Pop Squad is also the first attempt at the realistic CGI look in the second season, and the animation style is a great mix of realistic and stylistic animation. Very Matrix vibes, The Batman, or Seven even, to elicit a David Fincher film. All of those aesthetics, I think, are kind of present in this short film. That's great. it's like such an interesting thing. Overpopulation, people can kind of just live forever, so of course you don't want people having kids, and this guy is charged with doing something horrible, basically going out and killing people and children who exist. Pretty brutal. Also, the world is like toys because no kids exist, really, like very few, and I'm sure only certain people are allowed to have children. Probably the most wealthy people are the only ones who can get a registration to have children. So toys are basically collectibles, although toys are in many ways collectibles now with the adult children that exist, but they were collectibles in much different way because there's no need for toys, really. So an interesting world with no kids. What is that like? Almost like Children of Men kind of a vibe. Would love to see this blown up and turn into a full-length film, kind of like Children of Men, but even more of a sci-fi twinge to it. Give it maybe a little bit darker, especially with the fact that people can have kids as opposed to Children of Men, where people just can no longer reproduce, but they're being regulated. That would be great. I would love to see that. So coming in at number 5, my 5th favorite short film from the Love, Death, and Robots Volume 2 on Netflix is Pop Squad. Moving on to my 4th favorite short animated feature on Love, Death, and Robots Volume 2. This one is it's beautiful. The animation's beautiful. The writing is beautiful. And the way it's executed is kind of amazing. I don't know necessarily I want to see... I think this one works perfectly as a short film. I don't necessarily want to see this blown up into something bigger. It could, but it would be more of the technology or the way in which they use the technology, I guess. But coming in number 4, my 4th favorite short film from the Love, Death, and Robots series is The Drowned Giant. This is a 13-minute short film directed by Tim Miller. The episode is based on a short story by J.G. Ballard, produced by Blur Studio. When a 200-foot-tall naked body washes ashore outside a small fishing village, crowds gather to witness the spectacle. A local scientist documents the Leviathan's surrender to nature. The Drowned Giant presents a visually striking and atmospheric setting, combining photorealistic animation with darker and grittier elements. Very hyper-real. The cars, the setting, all of those things are very photorealistic. The people kind of look more Polar Express-y. So there's that kind of uncanny valley with the people for sure, but everything else very photorealistic. The scale is amazing to see this 400-foot giant, and he just looks like a normal 20-year-old dude that's naked and laying on a beach. But seeing the people as they climb up, and also seeing as this giant slowly like decomposes, seeing how the skin swells and bloats, the eyes get ghost over, and how they start to remove it, how the parts of the body, like remnants of the body, are kind of taken and seen throughout town by people who collected them. But all of this is kind of narrated, and there's this voiceover that's a very poetic voiceover of the scientists just kind of contemplating everything that we're seeing, which I really enjoyed that. That aspect of it, very beautiful. The animation, the look of it, the scale, all amazing. And, I really liked it. It's just one of those where I think Todd's it's a perfect short film, and I liked what they did, and everything works perfectly except for, some of the people look, and it's just weird how, human faces and things, I think if you were to freeze frame any aspect of this, you could convince people that it's a photo. But when they start to move, you can tell in the movements of the people that they're digitally animated. But anyway, coming in at number 4, my 4th favorite short film from the Love, Death, and Robots short film series on Netflix, Volume 2, is The Drowned Giant. Let's take a quick break right now to talk about, are you a fan of original artwork and live events? Look no further than the Many Faces series by Ray Taylor and the weekly live stream over at youtube.com/inspired disorder. This ongoing series explores the endless possibilities of the human face through abstract ink paintings on paper, capturing unique expressions of emotion, mood, tone, and energy in just a few minimal features. Join me every Thursday at 4:20 Pacific Time as I paint live. Follow the Many Faces series and discover the endless possibilities of the human face. Don't miss out on this opportunity to be part of the action and own a piece of original artwork by me, Ray Taylor. Head to youtube.com/inspired disorder every Thursday to catch the live stream, and visit inspireddisorder.com to browse and purchase the Many Faces artwork. And now, let's get back to the show. Moving on to my third favorite animated short film from Love, Death, and Robots, Volume 2, is one I would love to see. This was so much fun. This is probably one of the most fun ones of all of them. This is also the first one that plays, so I guess it would be episode 1 unless there's random orders. Either way, it's coming in here at number 3. Automated Customer Service. This is only a 12-minute long short film. This episode was directed by the Meat Department, which is comprised of Kevin Dan Vermeeren and David Nicholas, and written by John Scalzi. It's based on a short story written by John Scalzi, produced by Blur Studio and Atoll Studio. If you're home cleaning until it attempts to murder if your home cleaning unit is attempting to murder you, please press 3. God, it's a horrible reading of that. If your home cleaning unit is attempting to murder you, please press 3. There you go. That's it. In Automatic Customer Service, the story takes place in like a futuristic retirement city where advanced technology and automation have become normalized in every way, from this dog walker that vacuums up the dog shit after they shit. They got people in like robotic legs, like they're not necessarily disabled, but they're just sitting in these robotic legs that walk them around town. There's people playing tennis in virtual reality, so they're literally sitting on the sidelines of a tennis court wearing VR goggles and the little handles, and on the tennis court are robots that are doing the physical actions that these people are playing against each other in virtual reality. Just such an interesting world. Self-driving golf carts, because retirement community, nobody's driving cars. They just got golf carts. People just wasted, sleeping. It is just all old people, all the craziest technology. And the episode specifically revolves around an old lady named Janet, voiced by Nancy Linari, and who is seeking assistance for her malfunctioning automated customer service unit, which is kind of like a robotic maid in some ways, that looks like a marble cube that unfolds into different attachments and has different abilities. But it goes from vacuuming to starting to purge mode, which thinks that it's purging a rodent infestation, but then ends up kind of just attacking her full on. Meanwhile, she's on this like automated customer service line who's on the side of the robot, which is kind of crazy. So it's like this old lady, and the animation's crazy. It's like got kind of like normal, like very exaggerated, but the heads are like gigantic heads. Like if you were to stick a head on somebody and the neck went from one shoulder to the other shoulder, and how that would scale up to a head, that's how big these heads are in these characters, which is an interesting kind of like caricature look to these animated characters. The episode highlights the frustrations and absurdity of dealing with automated customer service systems that often fail to understand or address the customer's actual needs. It satirizes the increasing reliance on technology and automation, questioning the human element and genuine customer care in a world dominated by artificial intelligence. Automated customer service features a mix of dark humor, social commentary, and dystopian setting. And the story unfolds in a variety of in a very short runtime, encapsulating the challenges of navigating automated systems, that frustration that can arise from such encounters. This has a lot of fun action as this old lady is like running away from this maid, this marble cube maid that's after her, trying to attack her. Meanwhile, the customer service line is like, throw your dog in front of it to distract it so you can turn it off. There's this cute little puffball dog. The neighbor guy is a gun nut, so this movie and this short film in some way is kind of pro-gun, anti-technology, which, set aside the politics of that, it's still fun. But it ends in such a John Wick fashion, as in, which spoilers for John Wick 2, I think, where you find out homeless people are actual assassins, and because John Wick broke some rule, now they're all after him, and seeing how he has to get away from like hordes of people. The same thing happens in this, where this old lady finally gets out, but because she destroyed this robot, now all of the robots in this retirement community are after her and her neighbor that has the gun as they speed away in their electric go-kart. This is one I would love to see turned into a movie. It's so much fun. It's a blast to watch. Would love to see his full length. Automated customer service, coming here at number 3, my third favorite animated short from Love, Death, and Robots Volume 2. Moving on to my second favorite. This is another one I could see as a larger movie. I could see this as a franchise. The animation style is amazing. The story's super interesting. The ideas it has in this short film are amazing. So coming in at number 2 is Snow in the Desert. This is an 18-minute long short film. This episode was directed by Dominique Boyden, Leon Burrell, Remy Kozira, Maxim Lurim, based on the short story written by Neil Asher, produced by Blur Studio, as well as Unit Image. In an arid, scorching planet at the edge of the galactic civilization, an ageless albino named Snow is hunted by an assortment of hired killers, but after a beautiful stranger named Herald saves his life, she reveals her own plans for him. Snow in the Desert is easily the best episode, but it's only sitting here at number 2 of Love, Death, and Robots Season 2. Could have been number 1, but there's one other that I enjoyed more than this. It's the sort of thing that could be expanded easily into a full-length feature film. It's an interesting world, concepts, characters, themes make for an experience that leaves you wanting more. Even though its story is capped off extremely well, it's still something that I feel like it's an idea they could easily flesh out into a lot more. Punishments in this world, when he's at least in this area where he goes in, which is crazy. It's like this desert land, very much like a post-apocalyptic Star Wars kind of a vibe. Walking into this town, outside of the town, the people have been captured and are being punished, are locked in these like clear pods in the scorching sun, right? So they're in like these little encased greenhouses almost. So like inside you can see the humidity from them just breathing and sweating, steaming up these clear pods, but the sun beating down. It has got to be the worst torture I could think of. Like even worse than just being forced to be out in the desert sun, which would kill you and destroy you. But to contain that into a clear canister where you're also building up this humidity is just, and I'm sure smelling yourself die as well. Crazy. This character Snow regenerates limbs, lives forever. Like, very interesting type of a character. They want his balls to extract his special abilities. So much of this looks so photorealistic. It's great. The movements still make it seem like CG, but better than the pop whatever that one was called, Pop Squad. But since everything's digital and created in the same kind of way, and it's not mixing CGI and live action like a lot of superhero movies are, because everything's kind of in that same look, everything fits. Nothing stands out in the same way having a digital character in a live action movie stands out. So I appreciate that, because there are creatures that are non-human creatures that look great because it blends, it's consistent with the aesthetic of everything else. It's also got great fight scenes, great action, interesting premise, all of that stuff. So that's why coming here at number 2 is Snow in the Desert. Let's take a quick break from this episode to talk about Attention all Ray Taylor Show fans! We're excited to announce we've just released a line of exclusive merchandise featuring original artwork inspired by the show. Our high-quality shirts and biodegradable phone cases are a perfect way to show your support for the show and make a great gift for any fan. Plus, with each purchase, you'll be helping us continue to bring you great content. So don't wait. Head on over to inspireddisorder.com now and check out the full collection. Thanks for listening, and we hope you'll show your support by grabbing some Ray Taylor Show merchandise today. And now, let's get back to the show. Moving on to my favorite short film of Love, Death, and Robots, Volume 2 on Netflix. This one blew me away. This has to be. They need to use this style, the ideas in this, to make a movie. And I will love it. Hopefully, decent writing. But this is great. It's also one of the shortest ones on this list. Coming in at number 1, my favorite short film from Love, Death, and Robots, Volume 2, is All Through the House. This is only 7 minutes long. Directed by Elliot Deer, based on a short story written by Jachim Hedgermans. What's with that name, bro? Produced by Blur Studio, Blink Industries, which I think Blur Studios did all of them, but there's different animation studios that did some of these. Blink did the animation. This is on Christmas Eve. This is a Christmas short film, but a little bit more. It's got some teeth to it. It's Christmas Eve. A young girl and her little brother lie awake when a jingle of bells announces St. Nick's arrival. They sneak downstairs, hoping to catch a glimpse of the mythical gift giver, but find something unexpected. The episode is stop-motion animation offerings from Blink Studios, so it has that Christmas special stop-motion look, right? Like so many classic Christmas stories. Perfect, adorable, children's face stop-motion. These little kids scampering downstairs to get a look at Santa. But this episode also has horror aspects and sci-fi, replacing robots with aliens, like Ice, which is another short film in Volume 2. The short also tends to ignore themes of love and death. It's very different, but I don't care. Sticking closely to a story about the consequences for good or bad children. The crazy alien creature is a mix of the Alien versus Alien, right? So you're contrasting the adorable stop-motion animation look of the children and the world with a grotesque monster that looks like wet and slimy like Alien. It's colored different than Alien. I think it's red. But also the creature from that Del Toro movie where he puts his hands over his eyes and the eyes are in the palms of the hands. Like, imagine that kind of a creature coming out of the mouth of the alien creature in Alien. That's kind of the creature that is Saint Nick. He's not some jolly fat man. It is an alien creature that smells the kids and based on their smell identifies them and vomits up their gifts, to which they both get exactly what they want. But afterwards, when they go back to their beds, the little girl asks the question, what would have happened if we weren't good? That changes the naughty list for Santa Claus quite a bit when Santa Claus is a absolutely terrifying alien. So fucking good. The contrast between the Christmas, adorable, like cherub-like kids in stop-motion animation and the horrific alien monster is perfect. I would love to see a full-length Christmas horror film based on this with the exact same look, the exact same aesthetic. I think it's perfect. It is amazing. That's why it's here at number 1, all through the house. Some honorable mentions. The Tall Grass was great. This guy on a train ride that stops. He goes outside to have a smoke break, and he sees something in the tall grass. And when he goes into the tall grass, he gets lost. And the train is about to go, and he sees the things that were glowing in the tall grass are like these zombie alien creatures, which are is very much a horror type of genre. The Tall Grass. It is great. It's great. I really liked it. Didn't make the list. Honorable mention. Also, Life Hutch, which is a great kind of proof of concept scene, which feels like Lucky 13 in a lot of ways, which was in Volume 1, which seemed more like live action that had a lot of digital composites over it. An interesting scene where a guy is trapped in a room with a robot that's malfunctioning, similar to the automated customer service, but it's more of a sci-fi on a planet, sci-fi military type of a look, and it's him trying to survive being locked in this room with this robot. It's pretty great. Also, honorable mention, didn't make my list. But, so Tall Grass, Life Hutch, honorable mentions. My recap for my top 5 favorite list, let's do that, we'll get out of here. This is my top 5 favorite short animated films from Love, Death, and Robots, Volume 2 on Netflix. Starting off with number 5 is Pop Squad. Number 4 is The Drowned Giant. Number 3 is Automated Customer Service. Number 2 is Snow in the Desert. And my number 1 favorite short animated film from Love, Death, and Robots, Volume 2 is All Through the House. I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Top 5 show from Ray Taylor Show. Top 5 from the Ray Taylor Show. I hope you enjoyed my rankings and analysis of my top 5. Let me know how you would rank your favorite top 5 episodes from Volume 2 of Love, Death, and Robots. Is there a different list? Are there shorts that you think I should have had that didn't even make my honorable mentions? I would love to hear it. Let me know what your lists are. And join the conversation by leaving a comment or rating on your favorite podcast platform or over on youtube.com/inspireddisorder if you're watching this. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday for an all-new episode. See you again next week for more Top 5. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.